Seth Gross just beat Thomas Gilman in the Wisconsin Underground event. But does that make him an Olympic contender? Let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name's Josiah, and welcome to the Fanco Wrestling YouTube channel, where I love to discuss what's going on in the world of wrestling. And this week, Thomas Gilman and Seth Gross went at it in an incredible match. And I will get to the recap of that in just a second. But before I get to that, I want to give a shout out to my Fanco Wrestling Patreon members who continue to support this channel every single month. It's with help from you that I'm able to continue growing this channel. And today, now more than ever, I really want to put out my appreciation and thank you, because my microphone, I just found out, broke. So you may notice I'm filming this video a little bit differently than I am some of my other videos, because I will now have to purchase a new microphone. And that's fine, because everything that comes to the channel in form of pledges, I just like to put right back into it. And if that's something that interests you in supporting this channel every single month, you can join for as little as $1.99 or as high as $9.99 a month, helping to support this channel. Another new way to support this channel is actually with channel emojis, which you can purchase right down below where you see the join button for 99 cents a month, and you can use awesome channel emojis right here on YouTube. So thanks to my channel members. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to this incredible match. Seth Gross and Thomas Gilman. Wow. Seth Gross just puts out some great wrestling. Like, this entire year, past 12 months, really, going back to the Sebastian Rivera match at Midland, the Austin DeSanto match at Midland, and then from there, then on out throughout the rest of his season, going on into over the summer, his match against Joey Colon. And then recently, Bryce Meredith at the last Wrestling Underground event, where he beat Bryce Meredith in a great match. And now against Thomas Gilman. And wow, Seth Gross really knows how to put out a great fight. So this was a fun event that Wisconsin Wrestling Club, Wisconsin RTC, put on Rokfin. This was their second main event of Wisconsin Underground. Listen, besides this main match, not a crazy ton of other things to be really said about it. One big thing and takeaway, I guess, Evan Wick teching Kennedy Monday was a pretty big thing that happened. It was pretty interesting. If you want to check that out, everything is on Rokfin. But as far as this match, Gilman came out as the aggressor, the total aggressor of this match, and which isn't really that much of a surprise. We've seen it happen with him really in all of Gilman's wrestling, but really recently, in his match against Darian Cruz, came out as a big aggressor and just absolutely dominated. In his last match, the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club event, just came out as the aggressor, and he did the same thing here. Right away, within the first period, he was able to score one on a step out on Seth Gross, and that was really it on the point there. In the first period. Not a whole lot of other things. Thomas Gilman was able to shoot in, get in a couple times. He was getting in on single legs, but Seth Gross was just kind of too much for him on his defense. He was just able to whizzer pretty much everything and get his hips into Gilman and keep him off of him. We did not see Seth Gross attacking much in this match at all. Like, it really didn't really attack at all. So it was 1-0 after the first period. At the break, we head into the break, and Gross is able to score right off of Gilman's shot. So Gilman was shot in, and actually before he thought he had actually had a step out on Gilman. And there are a couple of people who think, more than a couple, people who watch this match think that maybe Gilman should have earned a couple more step out points. And listen, I think that there's things to be said about that. Some of the people I've seen commenting, well, these are just Wisconsin refs and this and that. I'm sure Wisconsin vetted their refs. I'm sure it doesn't come down to that. I never believed that a wrestling match should come down to a ref. Are there chances where that does happen? Yes. But I also think that let's let the wrestling happen, right? Let's let the real wrestling happen on the mat. And so, in that, I really don't think that the refs affected this match at all. And I think that both of these guys had their own game plans. Gilman came out as the aggressor. Gross, as he usually does, kind of stayed a little bit more back on defense. So as Gilman shot in, Gross was able to score and take advantage of that and score the only takedown actually of the match. So that put him up 2-1. And Gilman then again shot in on Gross. Gross was able to then expose Gilman, get his back and expose him. And then what happened was Gilman was able to score off that and score a point. So Gross is up 4-2 at this point. There's about a minute left. Gilman's still going in heavy, attacking, pushing Gross out. Gets another point on the step out, and they're still scrambling around. Gross, I mean, he's like a little spider monkey. He's like a real spider monkey, just in the fact of how he's just able to, Gilman's getting in on his leg, on Gross's legs multiple times, and Gross is just able to, like, keep pumping out, just keep popping out of that leg, keep trying to fidget his way around Gilman, even if he doesn't always get it. He's always moving. Maybe he isn't always shooting in. He's not that offensive in that way, but once guys kind of get towards him, he works his offense in that regard. So he keeps climbing around, trying to get behind, but the score is still 4-3. Eventually, Gilman's able to get one more push or step out, and makes the score 4-4. But because Gross had the only takedown of the match, he ended up winning on criteria 4-4. It was a great match. Was it the craziest match of the year? No, but I thought there were some interesting things to take away, including the fact that is Gross actually an Olympic contender? So let's look at Flow Wrestling's rankings right now. Their domestic rankings, and it's in first, ranked at number 1 right now is Thomas Gilman. These may or may not change after this match, depending on how Flow, I guess, views this match, but things may change. But Thomas Gilman is still the number 1 guy. Dayton Fix, number 2. Spencer Lee, 3. Seth Gross at that 4 spot. Then Vito at 5. I mean, just look at these rankings. Is unbelievable. This is going to be some serious wrestling come Olympics times. But as far as Gross is concerned, he's had a great year. As I already said at the beginning of this video, with his matches against Bryce Meredith this year, who's another contender to go to the Olympics. We see him beating he lost to Joey Colon over the summer at Beat the Streets, but it was 21-15. He put up a bunch of points against him. Like, that match was honestly one of my favorite matches of the year, especially in a freestyle card. Those two guys going at it, I mean, it was just back and forth, scoring, which is what I love to see in wrestling. I love to see points scored on the board. But with Joey Colon as a world medalist, with Thomas Gilman as a world medalist, and a serious Olympic contender, Seth Gross has shown that he's right up there with those guys. And although he hasn't really been on the Olympic or freestyle circuit as much as those other guys who've had a little bit more experience outside of college, I think that now we're really going to see where Gross stands. Now, the other thing I have to say here is that these two didn't wrestle at 57 kilos. These two actually wrestled at 132 pounds, which was, a little bit off from that. So, with that weight difference, that may add a little bit of difference in the future, but it's still, I think it was still a great win by Seth Gross, and I'm looking forward to seeing who Seth Gross wrestles next. The next Wisconsin Underground event, the third one, will be in January. You will be able to look forward to that. I believe it's towards the end of January, which should be another exciting event. Really, they should just start calling them the Seth Gross matches, because it's always a Seth Gross as the main card, as the headliner of the event. So anyways, what did you think of this match? Do you think that Gross is a serious contender now that you've seen him beat Thomas Gilman? Or what do you think? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below.